Hey guys, it's Mrs. Bryant. Welcome to your very first flipped classroom video. Before we begin today's video, I need you to make sure that you press pause and get the notes page I gave you in class today. You are going to need that in order to write down the examples and to show your work so you can do your homework later. So right now, press pause, and once you have everything ready to start the video, you can go ahead and press play and we'll begin. If you remember right, we have started talking about solving equations with variables on both sides. And today we are just going to continue that. But we're also going to continue talking about solutions and number of solutions and how to tell with an equation how many solutions you should have for solving that equation. So to get started, look at your very first slide, and we're going to revisit what we did today in class. And so it says we need to solve it. Remember, there are three things we're looking for when solving. We want variables on one side, constants on the other. We want a positive variable, and we only want one variable. Okay? So let's go ahead and start where it says solve. We're going to write 2x minus 3 equals 5x plus 9 plus 3x. Okay, before we need to do anything, we know that we need to distribute, but there's no parentheses, so there's no way we need to distribute. We also know that we need to combine like terms, and this is something that y'all started in 7th grade, so this should be a review. That's when you're looking on either side of the equation and putting like terms together. So right now, the only thing we can combine is the 5x and the 3x. So on the left-hand side, we still have 2x minus 3 equals, well, 5x plus 3x is 8x plus 9. So that is our new equation. Now, we know that we need x's on one side and the constants on the other. I am going to move my 2x because it is the smaller of both positive variables. And in order to do that, I put a negative 2x because it's the inverse or the opposite of a positive 2x. And if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other. So minus 2x and minus 2x. So I'm left with negative 3 equals, excuse me, 6x plus 9. I know that now 6x plus 9 is where my variable is going to stay because it's positive and I don't want to move it to the other side because if I move it to the other side it's going to be negative. So that means I know I need to move my 9. Well, what is the opposite of positive 9? What is the inverse of positive 9? It's negative 9. So minus 9 on both sides. And what does that get us? We have negative 12 equals 6x. So our last step, or our last goal, is to have a single variable. Right now I have 6, so how do I get rid of that 6? Remember in class we said that 6 is being multiplied by x. So what is the opposite or inverse of multiplication? And we know that as division. So we're going to divide both sides by 6. So my answer is negative 2 equals x. Now, you notice that on the other side of the slide it says check. In order to check it without a calculator, you are going to plug in this value for x into the original equation. So let's go ahead and do that. You're going to rewrite the equation. 2x minus 3 equals 5x plus 9 plus 3x. And now you're going to plug in negative 2 everywhere there's an x. So 2 times negative 2 minus 3 equals 5 times negative 2 plus 9 plus 3 times negative 2. And now you just do the math. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Minus 3 is going to be minus 7 equals 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, plus 9 is negative 1, plus 3 is positive 2. I messed up somewhere. 4 minus 3 is negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, plus 9 would be negative 1. Oh, that's, okay, negative 1 plus a negative 6 is negative 7. Notice that your solutions are the same, so you know your answer was correct. If you did not write all that down, you need to make sure you press pause and write down what you need, and then press play when you're ready to go. All right, so when we solved, you need to write these notes on your sheet. I know it's a lot, but you're going to have to write it. When we solved that, we said x equals -2. So you need to write this underneath where it says, when solving is complete. And when you need to write this sentence, when solving is complete, x is equal to a number. The one value makes both sides have the same value. Don't worry about drawing the table. You don't need to, but you do need to write this sentence. Underneath says verifying your answer in the table. You need to write this. In the table, there is only one value for x that makes both sides of the equation have the same value. And underneath where it says verifying your answer on a graph, you need to write this. You do not have to draw the graph. On the graph, there are two lines that intersect at one point. This point represents the solution to the equation. So press pause. Make sure you have all three of those arrows written down so that way you know what they mean. When you're ready, you can press play and we'll continue on. Okay. So now I want to know what happens when you solve this equation. 24x minus 22 equals -4 times 3 minus 6x. So before we do anything, we need to solve. 24x minus 22 equals -4 times 3 minus 6x. Remember your steps for solving with variables on both sides. The very first step is to distribute. So you distribute your -4. So 24x minus 22 equals -12. And then -4 times -6 is a positive 24x. Now it looks like something we can solve. Notice that we need all variables on one side and constants on the other. So first move your variable. It doesn't matter which variable you move because they're both positive 24x's. So we're going to move this one. So minus 24x minus 24x. You notice that you're left with no variables. You also notice that your two answers on either side of the equal sign are different. And since they're not equivalent, there's no way for us to check. Press pause until you're done writing this down. And we need to know that -22 does not equal -12. Press play when you're ready to go. So, when solving is complete on this one, you need to write this, and you need to write this sentence. When solving is complete, all variables cancel out and the values remaining create a false statement. You do not have to draw the table, but you do need to write this sentence. It says, in the table there are no values for x that make both sides of the equation have the same value. And you do not have to draw the graph, but you do need to write the sentence that says, on the graph there are two parallel lines because no value of x produces the same y value for both sides of the equation. Press pause until you have all of that written down, and when you are done, you can press play and we'll move on. Last example. What happens when you solve this equation? Well, again, first step when solving equations with variables on both sides is to distribute. So we're going to go ahead and distribute. 6 times 2x plus 1 minus 15 equals 3 times 4x minus 3. So now we're going to distribute. 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times positive 1 is plus 6 minus 15 equals. Distribute. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times -3 is 9. Second step is to combine like terms. I'm going to go ahead and underline everything that can be combined. And remember, you're only combining on the same side of the equation. So I have 12x minus 9 equals 12x minus 9. Move your variable to one side, and it doesn't matter which one you move because they're exactly the same. So minus 12x minus 12x. Notice they cancel, so you have negative 9 equals negative 9. What do you notice about this solution? You should notice that they are both the same answer. So we could plug in negative 9 to check and we'd get the same answer, or we could plug in any number to check and we would get the same answer. So what does this mean for your notes? When solving is complete, you need to write this and this. It means that when solving is complete, all variables cancel out and the values remaining create true statements. You do not have to draw the table, but you do need to know that in the table there are infinitely many values for x that make both statements, both sides of the equation true. The key word here is infinitely. When I ask you how many solutions an equation is going to have, infinitely is one of your choices. That and no solutions, and then x equals an answer. Again, you don't have to draw the graph, but you do need to draw or write the sentence. It says on the graph there's only one line because each x value produces the same y value. That means you can have any number and it's going to get you the same answer on the other side of the equation. Alright, so we will finish the rest of this in class on Monday. That's the beauty of flipped classroom. You get my help. You need to make sure that you have done the half sheet of homework as well, and all of it will be due on Monday. When you are done watching the video, make sure you click the link that says video survey and answer that math question so I know that you watched my video. If you have any questions, please email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Hope you have a great weekend.